my sweet friend Angela and I would like to talk about what really happens when you try to figure out the how, which the how we're talking about is like how you will create some magic. How will you be successful in your business? How will you fill an event with clients who love you? When you try to figure out the how, is what her and I are going to discuss. But first, I would like Angela to take a moment to introduce herself.
Well, hi everyone. I'm Angela Johnson. I'm based out of Utah for now in the United States. I'm an Access Consciousness certified facilitator. I'm the Harry Potter for business. I'm also called the Marketing Whisperer. I'm one of those weirdos who loves marketing and who loves to geek out about the how. As far as it goes with marketing strategy. So this is a topic that showed up huge for me this last week. Because I came home from this gorgeous retreat in Costa Rica and it was so amazing. And I came home and I just was spinning in this really heavy, funky energy. And so I was a good student and I started asking questions around what is this? What's going on? Why do I feel like shit? And this is not how I'd like to feel because I'd really like to keep that Costa Rica energy alive. And what showed up is I was obsessing about the how. So while I was asking questions about what I would like to create and my desires and all this magic, my brain was going into like, how is this going to work? How is this possibly going to happen? And what do I need to do? And I was, as a recovering workaholic, like I can go into that energy. And so once I started just having that awareness of like, oh, and the other thing that was really big for me is like, that's how I spent most of my life was in that energy, worrying about the how. It was like, I know this doesn't work. So like, what's going on here? So it was just a really great awareness. So that was part of why this conversation came up is like, yeah, what are we doing when I obsess about the how?
Yeah, and I mean it's something that I'm constantly clearing for myself, and a couple of things with that. One, I mean, for anyone watching who's familiar with the tools from Access Consciousness, which both Angela and I are certified facilitators with, really you want to ask who does this belong to and return to sender with consciousness. When you start spinning on the how will I do it? How can I create that? How? Return to sender with consciousness because we're taught to figure it out. From a very, very young age, we're taught to figure it out. So you want to do that first off, but what I would love for you to be aware of, and this is what I often say in classes and sessions and everything, is the minute we go to how can I do this? What we've done is we've actually stopped receiving from the universe. We've literally put up a barricade between us and everything and everyone that would like to contribute to us because we're actually taking on the job that isn't ours. It's like if you were the CEO of a company and you started going in and taking the janitor's broom from them to sweep the floor. It's the same idea. The janitor's probably going to walk away and go and help somebody else who is actually willing to receive the help. And and it's like really when we go to how can I create this? How can I fill an event? How can I create the targets like that? How? Then what we're doing is we're eliminating, we're eliminating receiving, and we're also ensuring that we're not receiving from everything. Our job really is to ask. That's the first step. Just ask, and then follow what I call the inspired action. So then when you get that hit to phone somebody you haven't talked to in 3 years, or you get the hit to go have a nap, or go to that yoga class, or maybe take an hour and a half and create a sales page. That's what you want to look at is like, what is the inspired action instead of how, which is such a limitation.
Well, and
What
for
about
those of you who maybe have been, the oldest sibling syndrome, or you've received the accolades in your life, like you figure out the how, like you're the solution, people go to you to fix all the problems. Like anyone else, just, a heart or a thumbs up of like, if you can relate with that. And so it's just simply switching the question because a how question and a why question are not really questions. It gets us into the minutia of the details, but we're not actually being the energy of what we would like to have. And I know that that might seem a little esoteric, And so one of the things that I just was constantly reminding myself of after this whole like 2 days of swirling around in this funky energy was I was asking a lot of how questions and a lot of why questions instead of, wow, what would it take to have blank, whatever it is, show up right away? What's my next step to actualize XYZ, whatever that target is, right away? And so it's simply, you could be, quote, asking with a how question, but you're not asking. You're trying to figure something out. And so just changing the question. And for me, it's almost like I have to like take a step back energetically and stop like, oh my God, what am I going to do? It's like, okay, what would it take for this? And then the other question that I was asking that really changed the energy is like, what is it that I really desire? And is it even my desire? Or am I so empathic and so intuitive and so psychic that I'm picking up on what everyone else around me wants? And so that could just be another little hint to look at it like, oh, maybe this actually isn't what I desire. So what are you even asking for? Is it truly what you desire, or is it what you think you should want? Or are you picking up on everybody else's, sort of questions that they have in their brains, and you're trying to figure it out. So those are just a couple things that showed up for me this last week. Yeah.
Yeah, and I love that. Like the truly just changing the question, like Angela said, and the what would it take question
Mhm.
is such a powerful question, and it's not a question to answer. So if you haven't taken a bars class or a foundation class, and it feels yummy to you, I suggest you find some because they're amazing. But it really gives you the sense of like really being the question, and what we're asking questions for and being the questions for is to receive the awareness. So we're not looking for answers. We're not asking that to then logicalize. I don't think that's a word, but it is in my Facebook feed today. Uh, all the steps that we need to take. It really is being that, and then different things will pop. And then the other thing that I love to do, which is kind of an adaptation from what would it take questions, is like like I wonder what it would be like. So, let's say you have an event coming up. Like I wonder what it would be like to fill that event. Like I wonder what that would be like.
Mhm.
I wonder what that would be like. And just wonder, like really be the space of wonder. Like not just from the place of I should do it because Glenise and Angela said I should, but really from that
Mhm.
space of I wonder. Like I wonder what that would be
Mhm.
like, and allow your entire body to be in that space of wondering with you. Because when we
Mhm.
really truly wonder without any expectations, without any projections, without any judgments, without any hows, when we just wonder, that's truly allowing the universe to step in and contribute. And when I talk about the universe, I don't mean just some, kind of big energy outside of us. I mean us. I mean the video camera. I mean the nature outside. I mean all the people. I mean like everything. The universe to me is everything, including me. So when I am willing to receive from everything and everyone, then that truly is how we can create things as if by magic, where we can't really even specifically say, well, I did A, B, and C, because it's like, well, I did A and I did Z and I did F2 and 49 and 1 and and then I took four
Unicorn and
naps and
rainbow.
then yes. Yeah. Yeah, so it's like really like I wonder what it would be like. Like I wonder what it would be like. And whatever it is, and you can just keep that open, of course, but if you are choosing a business, if you're doing something and you'd really like it to be different, like I wonder what that would be like. And then you can wonder what it would take also, because sometimes it's that. And then another question that I just came back from the certified facilitators in Rome, and even though I've heard the question a million times, I really got it on a different level this time. And it's truly like, what can I be and do different today to actualize this right away? So if you're looking at having a bars class and you would like to have, more people in it, Like, what can you be and do different today to actualize more people in your bars class right away?
Mm-hmm.
And again, then there's inspired action. It may not pop right away. It may come later. You might get the hit later to phone your, second cousin, and you have no clue why. But just phone them. And it doesn't mean, oh, I've got the hit to phone them, so they're going to want to come to my bars class. That might not be it. It might be the hit to phone them, and they are looking for a friend who's looking for it, or for something else. Who knows? But it's just that willingness to follow that without going into what in Access we call causal reality. A plus B equals C. If I have a bars class, I'll post it on the Access site and I'll have 500 people join me. And I wonder what it would be like for it to be like that. And what else? What else? How else can you be the invitation for people to come to your events, to have sessions with you, to buy your products, whatever it might be? And if you're not in business, it might be something else. Another way. If you've got a big dream of taking a really amazing vacation this summer, like, wonder about it. Like, wonder.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I just want to reiterate that piece of when you are truly in that state of curiosity and wonder, there isn't an expectation. There isn't this secret agenda of like, oh, I wonder what it would be like to have exactly 10 people in my class who each pay me $500. And you start anyone else do like, and here's the agenda. And then if I have all that happen, then I can do blah, blah, blah. And so it's like the secret covert way of getting back into what Glennie said was that causal reality of this if then paradigm. I mean, just think about like how many times we do that just as, humanity, like, if I lose 20 pounds, then I'll enjoy my vacation better. Or if I do this, then just like, well, are you willing to just choose the thing? Whether it's a vacation or the full class or more money in your bank account or a thriving business, like, you're willing to actually have that instead of all of these if-then conditions that are just this really fun way to entertain yourself and choose struggle. So there is another possibility here. Not that I would know anything about that.
Yeah, and causal reality, it's this reality. And so if that comes up for you, if you're aware of it as Angela's talking about it, if that brings up, kind of like, oh my gosh, I do that in this area, all you have to do is, the most important piece is choose beyond it, of course, but you can also just say, all the causal reality that I'm choosing here, I destroy and uncreate it all and return to sender with consciousness. And then if you wish, you can run the Access Consciousness clearing statement with that, right, wrong, good, bad, all 9 POD, shorts, boys, and beyonds. But it's just really allowing yourself to recognize when you're doing it and then choose beyond it, choose something else. Like, really, if you had your own reality, if you were choosing your own reality in staying with the example of business, what would it be like? How would you create that instead of, well, I have to do A, B, and C? Like, what if you don't? And what if you have to do A, B, C, D, F, and G to create what you'd like? Then just have that awareness and be willing to be present with that. And one of the questions that was brought up last week at the CF training that I've actually been running on myself a lot, and so this is for all you business peeps, and it kind of matches the energy of what we're talking about here, because, well, I'll say it first and then I'll explain it, is like, what's the value of not choosing success in your business? See, I can continue to run it.
Everything that is.
Yes.
Cool. Yeah.
Right, wrong, good, bad, all 9 POD, shorts, boys, and beyonds. Because really, if you are willing to be honest with yourself, because I know a lot of people go, well, there's no value, but there is. Otherwise, you'd be choosing the success you truly desire. So there's something that you're not willing to be aware of that you're then using to stop you from choosing the success that's possible. So then when you go into, okay, what's the value of not choosing the success that's possible in my business? Then oh my gosh, well, then I would be even more different from my family and friends. Then I would not have something to talk about with my business friends who are struggling. There's all these kind of really bizarre things that come up. Let them come up and just destroy and create them. They're not real, they're just lies, but it gets you out of it, because then you'll start to recognize what you're using to distract yourself. Which the hows, whenever we try to figure out how, is a way we distract ourselves. Whenever we get stuck in the doing from causal reality, that's a distraction. So if you ask yourself that question too, and I mean, I've been asking that for probably 5 days now, not every second of every day, but a lot. And as you might have seen when I just ran it, there's still a lot of energy on it for me. So just play with that and see what you can shift with it, because there's so much more that's actually possible when you get that crazy out of the way. But sometimes we have to ask those bizarre questions to get that crazy out of the way.
Mm-hmm. Well, there are a couple really great questions in the chat. So Ty asks, is there a difference between how can I and how do I? Yes, and I would also, because I go into the how, like I said, really quickly. Like that's what I got most of my, positive feedback from employers, teachers. I go like, oh, I figured out how to do this. And so it's like, what would it take to have X? Like, what would it take to have a full class, instead of how do I market this class and get 10 people? It's, oh, what would it take? And I love the question that Glenice asked, is like, essentially the doing and the being. It's not just about action and doing and here's the latest strategy. It's like, who am I being with this? Am I so attached to it that I'm like frantic or almost desperate in my marketing of like filling a class of like, oh my gosh, no, I have to have 10 people. And the other thing I would, ask just on the heels of that is like, what have I made so significant about having 10 people at a class or having a 6-figure business or whatever? Like, where am I using that to define myself? Where am I using that to judge myself? And that'll give you some awareness as well. And then there was another question of what's a causal reality with business and money? Do you want to take that question, Glenice?
Yeah, sure. I mean, there's so many. It would be, I have to have 10 people in my bars class so I can pay my rent. Mm-hmm. That's causal reality. Instead of, what would it take to pay my rent with ease and joy and glory this month? Because then we often look at the conclusion. We go, okay, well, I need, $1,000 to pay my rent. So then how can I create $1,000? Oh, I'll put on a bars class. And then what we're doing is we're actually limiting what's possible with that bars class. Instead, ultimately, what you'd like is to pay your rent with ease and joy and glory. What if you just ask for that? And then you may still have the inspired action to put on a bars class, but it won't be kind of pressured with all of this, oh my gosh, I have to have all these people, and if I don't have all these people, I'm going to get kicked out, and then I'm going to live on the street, and then I'm going to die a homeless person, and I'm sure nobody else's mind looks like mine or works like mine like that, but if we just take it all out and ask for what you'd like, and then follow the inspired action. And the other thing I want to say to the question of, how can I, or, can I, or whatever that was, is kind of any sort of a how question, and pay attention to it for yourself. It might be different. But a lot of times when we go into the how, our mind will automatically kick in and start figuring it out. Mm-hmm. So instead of, like the hows, it would be like, what would it take? And I wonder. And then that allows everything to contribute. So you might wake up the next day and it might just be magically, complete in front of you, and you have to do kind of nothing other than ask. And you might also have, when you're asking, I wonder, and what would it take, inspired actions of phoning certain people or putting up a sales page or that sort of thing. So really the how questions, just pay attention to how you feel when you ask them. Where does your mind go when you ask them? Does it expand and go into that space of infinite possibilities, or does it contract and go into the kind of the really limited finite structure?
Yeah, and speaking of like business and making money goals and money targets, one of my favorite questions to ask is, what could I do right away that would generate income and be fun? Like, what would be fun for me? What would I do for free? And wow, I can just charge for it because it's so, like, I'm so good at it and it's so fun and so easy. But like, what would be fun? And so it changes that, like, oh, I want to make $10,000 a month or $1,000 a month or whatever it is. It's like, oh, what would be fun? What could I, do right away that would be easy and actualize income? And so it's, changing those how questions into maybe what questions. And then just again, watch that little secret agenda that likes to peek up in the back of your brain of like, oh, well, if I do this, then I'll be successful. Or if I have a class or if I market my business, then I'll get out of debt. And so just like wherever you've made the reason for the money or reason for what you'd like to do in your business, particularly in this case, just be aware of it. Just be aware of it. And that can also just, the awareness alone can start shifting that energy to be much more easeful, joyful, and profitable.
Yes. Awesome.
Well, there's another question in here and I can't find it now. So we can come back, Glenyce, to the chat box and answer some of the questions. The feed is going a little bit faster than I can catch up with. So
Awesome, cool. Now, some of you might have taken part in some of Angela and I's other Facebook Lives, and we've done some videos and we've sent out some emails, and we've got lots of free goodies for you in those. So we'll also put links to those in this news feed or whatever it's called. So you can go find those things because they're all free and they're really just awesome. There's some clearing loops and there's questions to ask and kind of whatever it was we've talked about. And we'd love to invite you guys. We have two different, well, not that different, but two different events coming up. So the first one is on Tuesday, and it's online. It'll be Angela and I for 2 hours, and it's all about business magic. And it is just a phenomenal creation. Angela and I play very, very well together. We have a lot of fun together, and we're both brilliant in business. So we will put a link to that underneath also. And Angela, do you want to talk about our yummy 3-day event?
Yeah. So I'll give you the link really quick for those of you listening to the 2-hour class called Business Magic. It's bit.ly, so bit.ly/Biz Magic Babes, because we're babes. All one word. So you can register for that. It's a 2-hour online class. It'll be recorded, so even if you can't attend live, like we've got you covered. And then what would it be like to spend 3 days with Glenyce and I? Activating your magic, amplifying your business, amplifying your bank accounts with more ease, joy, and possibility than you've ever imagined. Just tune into the energy of what that could create. What would that be like? And that's our invitation, is we have created a 3-day event where you can be in person with us in Salt Lake City, Utah, or live stream. And it's called Magicpreneur. Brilliant, right? And so if you go to magicpreneur.com, you'll find all the information there. We've got early bird pricing that's happening right now through April 1st. And like I said, it's live and in person, or you can do the live stream. And this is 3 days dedicated to you, your business, and your bank account to activate the ease, the magic, the flow, the possibilities that you know are there. And where we're merging two worlds, because those of you who are used to access events or, access questions and clearings, like there's that magic. And then we're both brilliant business strategists. And so we're bringing in that strategy too and merging those two worlds together so that you can, when you get the inspiration of, okay, what do I do next? And you're like, oh, maybe it's a certain strategy. You're not quite sure how to do that. Like you can pick our brains so you get the strategic pieces. And you get the magic pieces so that you can expand and grow your business, again, with more ease. Because, one of my experiences in the past has been, I know how to work really hard. I kind of mentioned that before. Like, I know how to push harder, and I know, I know how to make shit happen. And there's a magic to when you just allow the universe to co-create with you. When you're asking questions like this, when you're clearing your points of view and all those barriers from money, from ease and more growth, like it's pretty spectacular. So my life now as a business owner versus my life 5 years ago, it makes me cry. It's drastically different. Like to have the joy that I have because of these, these two worlds that I've been willing to merge together. So that's what you're going to get a taste of. So Glenyce, what would you like to add to that?
I would just love to point out Ty just asked the question, what would it take to spend 3 days with Glenyce and Angela? So for any of you that it's feeling yummy for, be willing to ask that question and wonder about it. Like, I wonder what it would be like. Also, one of the things that both Angela and I do all the time, either with each other or on our own, is we commune with our businesses. So be willing to ask your business too. Like, would your business like you to take part in either or both of those events? If so, ask your business to contribute. Be willing to receive from everything. Be willing to ask for everything. Be willing to then take the inspired action. If your business says, yes, I'd love to, let's put on a bars class, or let's, sell this product, or let's phone this person, or whatever might come with it. But really, the 2-hour class, of course, will be phenomenal and online and really as Angela says, recorded. And then the 3 days with her and I in Salt Lake City. And actually, I'll tell you guys, some of you are aware of this, but originally, her and I had booked and set up and planned a bars and foundation class for her and I to co-facilitate in Salt Lake City. And every time we spoke about it, it just was heavy. We couldn't really, get things down. The graphic, I have an amazing graphic gal, and it just wasn't quite right. And there was no yumminess on it. And finally, Angela posed the question that I wasn't even willing to ask was, does it really wish to be a bars and foundation class? And when she asked, it was like, oh my gosh, no, it does not wish to be. So we went into, okay, well, what would be, as she said, what would be fun for us? And for us, business is fun. I know we're weird. I'm totally cool with that. But we love business. And we've both done very well. And as she said, we've merged. So there's magic. We have the magic tools. We utilize them. And then we also have the strategies. So really, I wonder what it would be like for you to come play with us, either on, one of the events or both of the events. We would be absolutely thrilled and just would love to play with you in your business.
Yeah. And for those of you who've experienced, traditional, like kind of in the coaching world, 3-day events, there's a lot of strategy and a lot of hype and a lot of that. And so don't worry, like that's not going to be part of this event. And so imagine, being in a room, whether you're virtually or in the room with us, and you have this idea of how you want to grow your business. Let's just say, for example, you want to do events, or you want to do more speaking, or you want to do more online marketing, like whatever it is. And so it's like, imagine what it would be like to map out that strategy it feels so yummy. You're like, oh, yes. And then we bring in the magic tools to destroy and uncreate and clear all the points of view, all the barriers, all the blocks, so that you can create that with more ease. So you have the tangible strategy pieces that are true for you. There's no such thing as one size fits all here. And then you've got those magic pieces that you speed up the process. Like you create at the speed of space and magic that you truly be. Like that's what we're playing with for 3 days. Like that's like you're going to walk away with knowing what your next steps are, knowing what's really possible, but also having the courage and the confidence and just the congruency to be like, yeah, I'm totally creating this, instead of, I mean, how many of you I've done this of like, I really want this, but I don't know if I can. Like, is it going to really work? Or I want this, but oh, it's going to be a lot of hard work. So I'm good to just have what I have. It's a pretty good life. Like, what if that was just no longer part of your conversation? And you could just step into that magnificent creator of magnitude that you truly are and not second guess yourself, not doubt yourself. And you know what the next steps are, but you have that energy that you are infusing into everything that you're doing and being. It's just easy. The other thing I'll mention too is for those of you who want to join us at Magicpreneur. So again, it's just magicpreneur.com. I'll put the link because preneur is a weird word to spell anyway. For those of you who register for that, you get the 2-hour business magic class for free. So we're gifting that to you as a bonus there. So yeah, just wanted to mention a couple of those things. All right, anything else?
And as Angela said, yeah, I just wanted to reiterate that we do have the pricing right now is, kind of early bird pricing. So you want to get in soon if you know it's a yes for you. it's on that page again. We'll put the links on there.
Mm-hmm.
And let's just wonder together for each of your, if you have a business, and you could change it to something else if you'd like, but just as a group, like let's just wonder, like I wonder what it would be like to exponentialize your business this month. Yeah. Like I wonder what that would be like. I wonder what it would be like to exponentialize all of our businesses this month. Yeah. Like I wonder what that would be like. I wonder what it would be like to actually double your business in the next 3 months beyond what you've never imagined possible. Like, I wonder what that would be like. And any resistance or any how or any that can't happen for me or judgments or any of that crazy that comes up as I say the wondering, just destroy it and create it all, return to center with consciousness.
Yes.
Drop all those barriers. And I wonder what it would be like to triple your business in the next 3 months. I wonder what it would be like. I wonder what it would be like to actualize more money in April than you've never even considered asking for. Yeah, I wonder what that would be like. Yes.
I'll have that.
Yes. Yeah, right? Yeah, cool. So thanks so much for watching, guys. We are so grateful for all of you. And again, we'll put the links to all the other previous free stuff that we've done. So if you have missed any, you can go and grab the gifts. And we would love to see you at one or both of the events. How much fun can we have creating businesses that really change the planet and our entire lives?
Yes, and your bank account.
Oh, and your bank account. Forgot about the bank account. Never forget about the bank account.
Well, thanks for watching,
All right,
everybody.
guys,
We'd love
thanks
to
so
see you.
much.
Bye, everyone.
Bye.